Oh, good evening. Yes, I did. This is my try again. I think I was probably sideways on to you all this evening. But welcome to First Aid for Families with Intelevation. I hope you've all had a good week. Put some comments in below, just let me know that you are there if you are. I've only given you about 15 minutes notice to say that I was coming live. Anyway, oh Nikki, hello. So yeah, I hope you had a good Saturday. I keep thinking it's Sunday. I don't know what happened yesterday, but yes, no, it's definitely Saturday. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about heat exhaustion. I was supposed to come on yesterday, but I had a sore throat. But luckily I had some nice essential oils and my throat seems to be a bit better. So I want to know if anyone's had heat exhaustion or knows the symptoms of heat exhaustion, because at the end of the day, I'm sure we've all felt it at some point or other. Now, the weather apparently is going to get nice again, so no more morning frosts, hopefully. So we've really got to think about looking after ourselves and making sure that we're properly hydrated. So what's heat? Does anybody know? I think we've just got Nikki here at the moment. You'll know Nikki, you're very good at this stuff. Heat exhaustion. So basically it's when we start losing salts and water levels. Yep, you've had it, Nikki. Yeah, we get dehydrated and start losing salts and water levels from our body. This is normally when our body temperature rises from about 37 degrees to about 40 degrees C. And we're sweating a lot. We might have symptoms of nausea, sickness. Pete said he's had it too and felt like he had been hit. Yeah, no, absolutely. You really feel awful from it. And it's actually really dangerous if we don't treat it or get out the sun or get hydrated properly and replace those salts. But it can lead to a thing called heat stroke. I remember getting it. I was driving my old car down to Devon. It took about 3 hours and I left the sunroof open, so the sun was just beating down on my head and I literally couldn't understand why I felt confused, a bit dizzy, sick, and had a really bad headache. But it's because I had that exposure to the sun and I was completely dehydrated, and yeah, you feel really, really awful. But as soon as I got to my friend's house, I had a few drinks, obviously the non-alcoholic type to begin with, to rehydrate myself, and I started to feel better. But if I had left that and not done anything about it, maybe hit the beers with my friend and sat in the sun for longer, it could have got quite dangerous, because once your body gets to be on 40 degrees C, it can't regulate its body temperature. Your internal brain thermostat can't do its job. And that's where we start seeing heat stroke. And that is very, very serious, and it can actually lead to death. We've seen cases, some of us have been around in the 90s, bit of the raving scene and things like that, but illegal drugs, non-prescriptive drugs, people were taking drugs in hot climates, dancing, sweating, not rehydrating properly, drugs like ecstasy. You know, and unfortunately their body temperatures were rocketing. Their body couldn't reduce the temperature itself, and people were just dying. You know, one, because actually the drug can be quite lethal anyway, but because of heat exhaustion, which led to heat stroke. So yeah, it's not great. But anyway, let's just talk a little bit about heat exhaustion in day-to-day terms. I've just started wearing a hat. I mean, I should have known better really, because being out in the sun for not too long, yeah, I start getting headaches and dehydrated, and I'm not very good at taking water in. I'm rubbish, to be honest with you, and I start getting all dizzy and a little bit confused. So getting out in the sun, a bit of rehydration is really definitely something that we need to sort of like do there. Okay. Children as well. Took my 2 children for a walk today. It was quite warm, so it was about 11 o'clock we went. So I made sure they had snacks, I made sure that they had bottles of water. But did I think about myself? No, never do as a mum or a parent. You're always the third person to actually think about. and you know, it's not sensible, is it? So you think about your children, think about their hydration and making sure that they're being well, got their snacks anyway. One, to stop them getting grumpy and get round the walk, but also two, to make sure that they're topping up on those needed salts within their body. Okay, so recognition of heat exhaustion. So confusion, headaches and dizziness, as I explained some of those symptoms before. Nausea and loss of appetite. Sweating with pale, clammy skin, cramps in the arms and the legs. People that do sport, a lot of running or exercise, sometimes you find cramping in the arms and legs. Again, that's a good indication that you're getting dehydrated and you're lacking in salts, so we need to do something about it. Rapid and weakening pulse and breathing as well. So again, it's going to affect breathing if we leave it untreated. So what we need to do, take the casualty into a cool area, into the shade, out of the sun, give them plenty of water, rehydrate them. If you've got the isotonic drinks, then great, because they've got some good salts in there, and they can increase the levels. All right, monitor their vitals. If they start to deteriorate, so they're not getting better, all right, then we need to make sure that we look at getting them to medical support. So whether that's 999 or 112, or we take them to hospital, to A&E. Okay, so it's important that we monitor their vitals. People do get better from heat exhaustion quite quickly if we deal with it quite quickly, and that's fantastic. But it's when it can then slide into heat stroke, that's when we've really got to worry. This is where the body can't cope with that. And we'll talk about heat stroke another session. Okay, I don't want to overload today, but definitely talk about another session. So what is it when I talk about vital signs? What are we looking for, do you reckon, when we're talking about monitoring vital signs? Hi Katie, how are you? You alright? We've got Hannah as well. Hi Hannah. So what do you reckon, vital signs? What are the important ones to be watching out for? See if anyone's looking. Breathing, that's definitely an important one. We could be checking the pulse as well, and finding the pulse on the wrist is easier than anywhere else. Levels of consciousness as well, and coherence. So communication and reassurance of your casualty is always going to be important there. Okay, so just stay with them and make sure that they're absolutely better. Pulse, heart rate, yeah, spot on Katie, that's exactly right. Okay, now I spoke about two options for calling the emergency services, so getting hold of the ambulance control. I said 999 and I also said 112. Now the difference between 999 and 112 is nothing, okay? They are both emergency call numbers. I spoke about this a little bit in my last live last Friday, and basically 112 gives you an emergency response as well. It'll put you through to the same control number as 999 does. The only difference is 112 is an international one. We had a lady on here last week and she lives in Cyprus, so she could use 112 out there. If we went on holiday to Greece or to France and we weren't too sure on their emergency number, 112 would work. So it's a good one to actually remember. Okay. Have you got any other questions there? Hi Laura. Oh, it's Laura. Sorry, I can't read it. My daughter dropped my phone, so my screen is completely cracked. So where all your comments are coming up, I can't see. I haven't had a chance to sort it out just yet. Some of you might have seen the Facebook Live that I posted at 7:45. My phone was slightly, well, it wasn't working very well, so I stopped the live and started again. But it's really nice having you on here. Now, if you do have any questions, then please stick them in the comments below and I'll come back and answer those for you. Next week we'll probably talk about heat stroke a bit more, but if you've got any questions about anything else you want to hear about, then let me know. Oh, Laura, splinters. Yeah, they're quite difficult to actually get out. I think the best thing to do with splinters is to have some tweezers in your first aid kit, a nice clean set, and try and prise it out. If it's gone in too deep, then try and clean the area as much as you can, and hopefully it'll start working its way out. The last thing you want to do is start getting, I know I've seen it so many times, getting a pin, burn the end of it to sterilise it, and then start having a root round. That's probably not the best thing to do. So yeah, try to get it out with tweezers, and just monitor the area. If it starts getting infected, then clean the area, and then probably take them off to see the doctor. Probably would be the best thing. But if it's not getting infected, then just monitor it. I hope that answered that for you. Now, have you got any more questions? Everyone goes quiet. Hopefully we're going to have a nice sunny day tomorrow. Right, no more questions. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely Sunday and the rest of the week, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.